Hello and welcome to the CDO Magazine interview series. I'm Thiago Da Costa. I'm with Toric. Today I have the pleasure of talking to Tony Peleska from Kraus-Anderson Construction. Where do you see more data being used? So it sounds like you started on the financial side and a few others. Are you guys looking at other kinds of data that you can use, and where do you see the industry taking that in the future?
Sure. I really see it in the pre-con space, really, of where value is at the start of a project. Really, how do you model some of these things? There's a lot of tools out there that do it within their own tool sets. Things that we've used historically, like Model Objects and OST and WinS. They're kind of trending modeling tools to kind of how are you looking at your spaces and the processes that you do on the pre-construction side as you kind of bid out these certain things. But I really see valuable insight going into the historic data around the things that we do on the pre-con space. I just think that's a world, a gem out there if you can do it really well. Outside of the financials of how your performance on your current jobs are, that I don't think a lot of people are looking at outside of holistically. I think they're looking at it with tool sets. And I think that that's a data strategy that you should be doing with historic data and really looking at your data collection space and really fine tuning that really well in our industry. I think that's a huge gem. And I do think another big piece where as we do project closeout and turnover and we have this historic data that we've gathered over time, kind of what's the life cycle for that for our customers, and bringing our customers into that journey with us is a space that I think will really start engaging the organization at a different level. I think that we've done voice of the customer many times here, but I do think there's this piece where we have to see the points of friction and the points of opportunity are the things that's the language I use here for how our customers use the data that we create. And that may be a subcontractor, that might be an owner, that might be somebody, just who engages with us to consume data and how we consume that data internally. And we can't make assumptions on those customers of how they use that data. So it's really taking it and doing an outside in, inside out mapping exercise where we see those points of friction and opportunity based on what our customers' input is and what our input is, and marrying that to say that these are the points, this is where we could add huge value. And I think that is where I see the industry. That's what we're going to be doing, and where I could see the industry going next.
Great. And as you talk about closeout, is there like a data closeout or a data handoff?
Data handoff, yeah. I mean, project handoff, data handoff, just that whole process. It's difficult. It's convoluted. I think everybody in construction sometimes struggle with that, with timelines and what it means and what data points do you have to get to provide closeout, and what does that mean on a data side in line with the physical handover. I think all those things could be defined better industry-wide.
Great. Now, our last question here is, how are you thinking about AI with all the things that are happening with GPT, AI, machine learning? How do you think that will affect what you have done so far, and also how it relates to the business overall?
I think, if you're not talking about it, you're missing the boat. All right. So I think that, as I look at, we're a Microsoft shop as a whole, and I know there's some AI capabilities inside of Fabric as we're looking at what Fabric is. It's funny. Everybody's like, are you an Azure shop? Are you and I say that we're Microsoft to an extent, and I'm using the tools we have, and I'm not looking for a product to just go do this stuff. But on a familiarity side, it's really defining AI for us and how we want to use it. We're already consuming it at a marketing level. We're doing some of these things, but I want to really define AI for us. I want to make sure that we know how we're defining it for us in our space. And I want to make sure there's policy and governance around it right? And I think that that's where a lot of people, if they haven't done that piece, I think a lot of people are going to have to come back and do it again, because they're going to learn that, oh my God, we don't have any governance on this. We're feeding this beast, and other people are getting our information, So you really have to learn about where you want to go and how you want to structure AI in your environment. Second piece, on the really how it relates to data for me, it's really taking a look at Fabric and seeing what that journey looks like and how AI is integrated, within that space, and how they've defined it there, and I know that it's kind of written all over the place as they've talked about, One Lake and, value reporting and insights, AI powered capabilities within their tool set, how they have the data activator and the data factory. And so it's sort of like trying to see kind of how our environment is with Microsoft today and our ETL tools are, and how does that play well in this world of Fabric, and what do we need to do and change to take on some of those things, none of those things, or all of those things. It's kind of in our journey life cycle for some of the things that we're starting to look at now.
Great. Yeah, it's a new journey for everybody. So
it really is, isn't it? But I think that policy space is really critical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all unregulated right now. You should just assume that whatever data you're feeding to an AI model will be used to the benefit of the AI model.
That's exactly it. So if you're feeding the beast, you could be just don't feed information that is critical for you to do your business to the beast. Right.
It goes back to governance and all of these.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say this though, one of the things that I am doing, I'm on the University of St. Thomas here, the Graduate School of Software Engineering. I'm on their strategic advisory board, and we just approved the ability to create the curriculum for them to have their first graduate degree in generative AI. And so they will be the first university in the United States to have a graduate level degree in generative AI. They have a couple in Europe right now, but they'll be the first one. And I'm getting to see that as grassroots level to building that thing out. So it's really exciting to see how in the education space they're driving this and helping to solve some of the problems that we're seeing for something that's hitting us like a bolt of lightning, right? So I think there'll be more to come there as well.
That's great. Yeah, I think universities will blaze the trail for a lot of this for sure. Well, this was a great talk. Thanks so much for sharing all of this with us and with everybody that's going to be listening. Thank you, Tony, and your journey is awesome. And to know more about these kinds of interviews, visit cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews with CDOs like Tony. Thank you.
Thank you so much.